Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this talk with Anna Bertona. My name is Yan Vermeulen. I lead the global practice for chemical and process industries with Odgers Berndtson. So very pleased, very honored to have Anna as our guest today. She's the CEO and president for EMEA with Azelis, one of the leading specialty chemical and food ingredient distributors in the world. Anna, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor.
So today we're going to speak about DEI, and there's a lot of talk in the industry about both sustainability as well as DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I know you're very passionate about both, but let's focus on the DEI part. What does that mean to Azelis, and how does Azelis define DEI?
Yeah, for us, we have the ambition to be a company with a diverse and inclusive culture. It's not only about diversity, indeed. We want to make a positive contribution to society, attract top talent, but also enhance customer relationship through that, improve decision making, and increase also the levels of employee satisfaction. And we believe that being very inclusive and diverse is really a competitive advantage for us. And it will also help create longer term sustainable value for all our stakeholders. Now, diversity is a very complex topic. We always translate it into gender, but it's not only about gender. It's also about age, its background, its nationalities. But for the moment, in our sustainability program, we have defined it with two KPIs, which is we want that all line managers are trained around this topic. And we also want to have our senior leadership to have at least 30% being held by women. But we track many other KPIs. We don't have targets on that, but we track them. So we track, for example, also indeed age, background, nationalities. So yeah, that's a little bit broader.
And thank you for that. And I like the idea of tying it to executive performance as well. And that the same way we're seeing with sustainability in tying goals, perhaps even compensation to sustainability goals, to DEI goals. So it's good that you have KPIs in place with regards to diversity and inclusion. But are those just goals at the moment? What steps have you taken so far? And perhaps with those KPIs, what have you been able to achieve so far?
Yeah, as we mentioned, I was mentioning, we define these KPIs and targets, and it's not just targets. It's also we train our people to increase the awareness, to also make sure that we take away bias from people, for example, when they do recruiting. We have many other initiatives, like in the US, we have an Empowerment and Inclusion Council, which is led by employees, and they are thinking about what we could do more to become even better in D&I. You're saying about compensation and tying into it. Indeed, for example, for our senior leadership, these two KPIs I was mentioning, these targets, they are linked to the variable compensation. So it's really tied in. It's not just a word that we say we want to be that. People feel it also whether we achieve it.
Yeah.
And talking about achievement, actually, we are, I think, already quite good at Azelis. It doesn't mean that we cannot be better, but we have already overall more women employed than men, with just around, I think, 53 or so. Mm-hmm. But from our new employees that we hired, it's 60%. So we are trying to increase that even more, because we think if the basis is good, people can also, the women can also grow the ranks better. From our internal promotions, 55% were done with diversity in mind and achieved by having women in a new role, which is more than the actual. I've said, I think, 53, so 55 is more. And in 2022, we actually surpassed our target around this senior leadership, because we were at 32% from, I think, 23% or so in the year before. So we are really putting effort, and we are also achieving this target. It means that maybe we might raise the bar again on that target of 30%, because yeah, now that we have surpassed it, it's going to be too easy. I also want to come back. It's not only about gender. We also look at other parameters. We have, for example, an executive committee globally, 5 people, and they're all 5 different nationality. We have a German, we have a Dutch British, we have a Turk, we have an American, and we have myself, Italian. We have also the management teams of all the different countries where we are present. They're all led by a local national. And if you look at the global senior leadership that's making a group of these managing directors and also market segment directors and support staff, we have, I think, around 80 people, and it's 30 different nationalities. So it's really also there very diverse. And we have our headquarters here in Antwerp. We have shared service centers, finance, IT, legal, and all the rest of the corporate staff. And there we have 20 different nationalities. So it's not, again, only about women. It is looking broader. We also try to have a good mix in age. We hire people straight from university, but we also hire people. We hired last year someone in the Nordics of 70 years, a very good salesperson. So we have a broad mix. And I think I worked for many different companies, but I can say that Azelis is one of the most diverse companies I've ever worked for.
This is very impressive stats, indeed. And although I don't have industry averages, it seems you're doing quite well compared to your peers in the market. I wanted to touch on the local leadership, what you mentioned. Obviously, as a leader, you want to ensure you have a diverse team, but for specific countries, perhaps around the world, or specific functions, namely operational, for instance, it might be more difficult, I would imagine, to ensure that you have a diverse team. So both on the gender side, but on the nationality, how do you ensure as a leader that you're achieving this?
It's a good question, and sometimes we are just not succeeding. I had to replace a senior role in Germany last year, and we said we want to have a woman there. We didn't succeed, and then in the end you have to take, I think, what is the best for the company, and not, I would say, lower standards just to reach. I think it's about the quality. And to make sure that we look at it all the time. Again, it's the awareness that we create, it's the targets that we put, and it's also, I would say, the positive encouragement by sharing a lot of these success stories, because that inspires people to act along that line.
Yeah, I think that's probably the key point here, to share the stories and to share what can be done if a company has the right KPIs in place. And it seems really that, as mentioned, you're doing well in the market, both achieving your own goals, overachieving your goals. And it's really today that I wanted to thank you as well for your sharing of what's happening with Azelis. It's been very impressive and very admirable what you've been able to achieve so far. And just wishing you all the best in the rest of your D&I goals and achievements.
Thanks a lot, and we have so much still to do. So I think we just have to continue to raise the bar, and we will do so. So, well, thank you for the opportunity to explain what we do at Azelis around this topic.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.